More filler that episode was. I can't really do the Yoda voice, but I'm sure you can imagine. It opens with the pathetic attempt at the Butcher's Ball. The Temu version of it. After Gwaine leaves, Kristen's army get ambushed by Rivermen. They initially kill the ambushers, but it's a trap! Turns out it was a trick to distract them from noticing the horde of Riverlords surrounding them. Just like in Fire and Blood, Kristen asks to duel, but instead of someone responding with the iconic line, "I'll have no songs about how brave you died, Kingmaker," he just gets shot with arrows. Oh, I was wrong. Her hands didn't slip. She actually fired on purpose. That's rare on this show.
Meanwhile,
the City Watch are quitting since Rhaenyra wouldn't pay them, which means that aside from losing soldiers for her own side, the small folk would be less safe. Rhaenyra the incompetent, everybody. True to her name, when the small folk point out the obvious uptick in crime, Rhaenyra's response is to just leave.
This was after she cuts herself on the throne, but the same thing happened to her father and he didn't immediately put an end to court session and exit.
Alicent and Rhaenyra have a little lover's tiff. Rhaenyra's mad that Alicent doesn't trust her. Yeah, this reads like two girlfriends fighting. Rhaenyra doubles their guards and refuses to allow them out of their rooms. Helena gets worse. And when Alicent complains on her behalf, Rhaenyra, have a drink ready for this, sends Alicent to Harrenhal to kill Aemond.
And only now does she realize Helena has dragon dreams. I feel like that's something she should have known. Did she really have that little interaction with her half-siblings? I also feel like that's something her father should have known, considering his obsession with the prophecy. Don't tell me he was that deadbeat of a dad. Also,
did Rhaenyra kind of forget that Alicent tried to gouge Luke's eye out for Aemond? Then again, that's season 1 Alicent. That was when she was a believable character instead of a cheap plot device. That was when you could understand why she turned out the way she is, judging by her backstory. You know, Otto had her seduced Viserys, who then used her as a baby factory, and then ignored all his Tark Tower kids. She did her duty. Meanwhile, she sees Rhaenyra giving a middle finger to every Andal law in the book, to the point of passing off Harwin Strong's kids as legitimate, which is an act of treason. When Luke blinded Aemond and Viserys did nothing, she had a reasonable crash out. You can tell that was the well-written Alicent by her hair. When her character went to shit, so did her hair.
Meanwhile,
at Harrenhal, Aemond thinks Vhagar abandoned him, which is impossible. The bond between a dragon and their rider runs deep. A dragon will only allow his bonded rider to mount him, and dragons won't form another bond until the original rider's dead. They will come to their rider's aid if they sense they're in danger, like Drogo did for Dany when the Sons of the Harpy attacked a gladiator game in Meereen. Did Aemond or the writers kind of forget about their own lore? Or are they implying
Alice
used her 99 magic to send Vhagar away, even though it's established you can't control dragons unless you have Valyrian blood? And come on, Alice is not Valyrian. Speaking of Alice, she shows Aemond the clutch of dragon eggs.
Not to be confused with the ones Alyssa Farman stole. These were laid by Dreamfire when Rhaena lived in Harrenhal in her twilight years. I won't count this as a lore fail since nothing in the established histories contradict it.
This leads to them making out.
Oh my god, who the hell cares?
On the road, Aegon, Larys, and Tyland head for Bravos. Even though Tyland's suggestion they make for Casterly Rock is a better idea. Casterly Rock is
impenetrable,
even with dragons and dragonfire. Visenya said it herself. If Loren Lannister, the king of the Rock at the time of the conquest, had chosen to stay in his castle for a siege, instead of meeting them out in the open field, it would have taken Aegon and his army over a year to draw them out, and that's if they're lucky. It was pure dumb luck that allowed the Targaryens to take the Westerlands. Larys' speech level must be well over 100, cause Aegon actually asks Tyland if he's a bad man, and Tyland just stutters. If he wasn't retarded, Tyland would have been like, would I have swam all the way back a la Rings of Power to serve a bad man? In Tumbleton, Ulf's bored out of his mind. Rhaenyra won't let him visit the tavern, and his friends are not allowed into the Red Keep.
Not 1 hour with the lads.
You know, I thought he was annoying and unfunny, and it should have taken him more than stumbling around to claim Silverwing, but now I actually feel bad for him. Hugh manages to sneak in, and he tries to convince his wife to leave, but his wife does the most wife and the most thing. She used to complain about them being so poor they couldn't afford medicine for their daughter. Remember her? She died off screen. So long, nameless character no one cares about. Anyways, now that he's a knight with a dragon and their own house on the way, she bitches he's never around. Moving on, Ormond, Gwaine, and Darren are dining when some Baratheon guys come in. They're actually assassins, but they only figured that out because
their leader doesn't have the chestnut hair Gwaine the Gay remembers. Hold on, it was a plot point that everyone in that house has black hair.
I really think they threw that in at the last minute, like they realized they needed more material to pad out the 1 hour runtime, so they just half-assed the last segment they filmed. The only good part was this. Let's just have more sequences of Jane doing what the viewers wish they could do.
I'll say this again.
Rhaena could have just chilled out in the Vale, sat out the war, and maybe she would have hatched another dragon. But she chose to become another generic girl boss. She's made her bed, and she can get fucked by all her bad decisions. And the episode ends with Rhaenyra watching over a sleeping Joffrey. I don't care, cause Joffrey's been a non-entity. That was like watching anime filler. It's that boring, save for Jane Eyre. Even drinking doesn't make it that much better. It's sad how the mighty have fallen. Game of Thrones used to be a highlight every Sunday. House of the Dragon Season 1 had me believing the franchise was redeeming itself after Season 8. And now we're back where we started. No, we're even worse. Everyone admitted Season 8 was garbage, but we still have show slop consumers who are convinced this is still peak television. That's the audience now. Why the hell do I still watch it? I'm hate watching and I'm a masochist. There's a part of me that wants to see how bad it'll go.
Fuck you. You're a fucking wanker. We're gonna punch you right in the balls. Fuck you with a fucking anchor. You're all cunts, so fuck you all.